Hey everybody, welcome back to the War Boss Fitch channel, and today we are going to be talking about some demons. And what flavor are those demons going to be but the demons of lust. If you guys like these videos where I focus on a particular faction and deep dive into them, go ahead and hit that like button. That way we can get these videos out to more people that might be interested in OPR. More people interested means more people playing, which means OPR is going to grow. And for our 3D Creator of the Week this week, we are going to use Onepagerules because they have put out the entire range of Lust Demons for us to print. So let's go ahead and hop right into the Lust Demons. Now we could do the Grimdark Future or the Age of Fantasy version. It's the same list in both systems. We're going to go ahead and use the Age of Fantasy one. So to quickly sum up the Demons of Lust, what is their shtick? Speed. The Lust Demons are speed. Let's go ahead down here to the special rule and we'll get more in depth a few things we're going to look at. Banner of Lust, this gives your units Strider, which means you ignore difficult terrain. Blessing of Lust, more speed. Speed boost, even more speed. And then their melee special rule is one called Overload. Each time you roll a 6 to hit, you get 2 attacks with that same weapon. Kinda like Furious, except you get 2 attacks instead of 1, but you have to roll to hit. So more of that when we get to stuff. Let's go ahead and look at spells. We're going to look at the buffs and debuffs. We got a -1 to hit with Acquiescence at 1, which is okay. Pleasure, target 2 friendly units within 12 to get +1 defense rolls. Again, that's pretty okay. This army has like middle of the road defenses. And here is 2 friendly units with 18 get +2 to hit next time they charge. Now last week when we looked at the Elves, we saw how powerful that can be. And in an army that's focused nearly entirely on melee, that's a good option to have. So let's go ahead and look at the units, starting with the hero first. We're going to start with the Avatar of Lust, the big one. Coming in at almost 1,000 points to start with. 955 points, quality 2, defensive 2, caster 4, demon, fast, fear, hero, overload, and toughness 18. Demon, I forgot to touch on demon. Demon is a very powerful rule. Everyone in the army has it. You can either choose to ambush these units or to scout with these units. You get to pick either or. That means your enemy is going to deploy everything on the board. If you choose scout, you get to deploy last to see what they put where. And ambush, you just get to come in later. So this is a null deploy type of army. So weapons, we start out with 2 Exalted Ritual Blades, 9 attacks with Rending and Stomp, 6 attacks at AP2. So that'll be 18 attacks with Rending to start off with. But we can increase that. You can come down here for a Ritual Hammer, giving you a blast of 3, an Exalted Crossbow for 12 shots at 12 inches, a Ritual Spear for 3 attacks, AP2 and Deadly 3, or an Exalted Ritual Gauntlet for 9 attacks at AP3. So it's kind of expensive, but if you do that, you get 18 attacks at AP3. Coupled with spells that you could throw being a caster 4, and then Symbol of Lust. They used to be an every turn thing, but now it's once per game when this model activates. Before attacking, roll X dice for each 2+, and an enemy unit within 12 takes 3 hits each. So it's a possible 12 hits. It's a one-shot thing. So if there's a turn where you need to just screw everything up in the enemy's army, it's 12 inches away, so it doesn't have to be what you're in combat with. You can drop this out there. The Avatar of Lust has the possibility of just jacking up 3 units a turn. Once with a Symbol of Lust, once with her melee potential. And then just overpower, you could throw out a blast 9 at something else. You're caster 4, so every turn you could do this on a 3-up. But, as you can see with the points value, you're not going to be able to play this in our 2,000 point games. You've got to be at least at 3,000 to even bring this on the board. Next unit is the Ascended Harbinger of Lust. 550 points, quality 2, defensive 2, demon, fast, fear 2, hero, overlord, and toughness... Why I say overlord? Overload and toughness 12. 2 Great Ritual Blades, 6 attacks apiece with Rending, so it's 12 attacks with Rending, and 4 attacks, AP1 with Stomp. You could do the same upgrading of the weapons. They're just lesser versions because you start with a lesser version to begin with. Blast, AP1, Deadly 3, 8 attacks, and 8 ranged shots, and 6 attacks at AP3. You could also do Symbol of Lust 3, which is a lesser version of the one that the Avatar is carrying, and you can make them a Caster 3. So it's just an Avatar Light. We're going to go to our next one, which is the Harbinger of Lust. 180 points. Quality 3, defensive 3, demon fast, fear 1, hero overload, and toughness 6. I said it right that time. 2 heavy ritual blades, 3 attacks apiece with rending, so 6 attacks with rending. 2 attacks with stomp at AP 1. Again, you have the hammer, the spear, the crossbow, and the heavy ritual gauntlet. Same weapons the other one have, you're just stepping them down incrementally. You can also put Symbol of Lust 2, they can be a caster 2, and this one you can give wings to make them fly. And at toughness 6, this is going to be the biggest character that you could put inside of a unit. So flying might be if you want to synergize them with the Furies, or if you just want to run them on their own to jump over impassable terrain. Alright, our next unit is the Champion of Lust. 65 points, quality 4, defense 4, demon fast, hero overload, and toughness 3. It comes with 2 ritual blades, again, another step down. 2 attacks with rending. You could choose to replace 1 or 2 of the blades with ritual gauntlets for AP 3, 1 of the blades with a crossbow for 4 shots at 12, or you could replace both of the ritual blades with a blade and a hammer or a blade and a spear. You could do a Symbol of Lust 1 and a caster 2, and here we have Blessing of Lust. This is the only unit buffing ability that you have in your characters. This one, they get extra movement with +1 at advance and +2 on rush and charge. So the only upgrade you can give is more speed. You could then choose to put the character on a Lust Beast for 1 attack with poison and a speed boost, which gives +2/+4, which would make it very fast. A Razor Flail Chariot, defensive 1, making it defensive 3, fear 1, impact 3, and spear boost, again making it very fast, and toughness +6, making it toughness 9. Or a Bonded Harbinger, 6 attacks, AP 1, defensive 2, meaning this would become defensive 2+, fear of 1, and toughness +6, again making it toughness of 9. So that's all of our characters. Let's look at some units. We're going to start off at the top with the Lust Furies. 85 points for 5, quality 5, defensive 5, demon fast, flying, and overload. They come equipped with arm blades for 2 attacks with AP 1, or you can switch them out with rending claws for 2 attacks with rending. Now this unit is just going to be a cheap, objective grabbing unit. Quality 5, defensive 5 in the demon army isn't all that great for offensive power. You could go after other small chaff units, but the big thing is, these with flying and ambush from the demon rule, they're going to be used to grab objectives at the last minute that the enemy isn't protecting. Next we go to the Lust Warriors. These are going to be the backbone of the army. 75 points for 5 of them, quality 4, defensive 4, demon fast, and overload. They come equipped with hand weapons for just 1 attack with no special rules attached. But you can upgrade them with a halberd for rending, a great weapon for AP2, a spear for counter, or dual hand weapons for 2 attacks. You can upgrade the unit with a Banner of Lust to give them Strider, and you can upgrade a Sergeant Musician or a Banner. So with the Demon rule, this unit is going to have Scout, which means you're going to be able to start at the center point of the board. So theoretically, the maximum the enemy is going to be away from you is 24 inches, because you're going to be allowed to deploy after the enemy. You're going to see where they start out, so you can pretty much turn your demons into a missile. So let's look to see what we could do for speed here. We have Ambush, we have Scout. We're going to put on a Banner of Lust, which gives them Strider. We're then going to put a Musician, which gives +1 more inch. Then throw in a Champion of Lust. Champion of Lust, give them the Blessing of Lust. And since we're doing that, just make it a full-blown unit so that everyone can get covered by the single champion. And then what you have is they have a unit that is fast to start with, so 8 inches of base movement. The Blessing of Lust makes it a 9 inch of base unit. So that means that they're going to charge 18 inches. And then on top of that, you get the Musician, which means you have a 19 inch charge out of your base unit, which is going to start in the middle of the board. So the Demons of Lust are going to be able to choose what they attack when the game starts. Now they all have just basic hand weapons, so what I normally do, give them the dual hand weapons just to get more attacks to get thrown out there. So things with a lower defensive value, you're going to be able to take out a whole bunch more stuff because you just doubled your attacks. Tougher opponents, go for the great weapon. AP2 means that, people go from a 3 to a 5 or a 4 to a 6. Halberd, it is the cheap choice, but if you know you're fighting against somebody who has a whole bunch of regeneration, the halberds will shut that off. So this is going to be the backbone of the standard Lust Demon army. There's other ways you could build it for more speed, which we'll get to in a minute. Next unit up is the Cavalry, the Lust Beast Riders, 110 points for 5 of them, quality 4, defensive 4, demon, overload, and very fast. They're all equipped with Toxin Claws for 1 attack with poison and hand weapons. And their only upgrades you could do a Sergeant, Musician, or a Banner. I really wish there was a Lance option on these to put some AP into the unit, but alas, we just get the Claws. So for 110 points, this is going to be a really good jumping around the board, taking the objectives that the enemy doesn't think you're going to be able to reach. The only thing you're going to be able to upgrade with a character, you put them on a Lust Beast, give them the Blessing of Lust, giving them an additional +2 to movement, and then a Musician with very fast, that's going to make them 20 inches on the charge. The Champion will make it 22, and the Banner and the Musician will make it 23. This might be to the level of too fast. You'll definitely surprise people on where you're going to be able to go with these. Alright, so that takes care of all of our core unit. Let's go ahead and go to our vehicles/monsters. We're going to start off with a Lust Demon Spawn, 145 points, quality 4, defensive 4, demon, fast, fear 1, mutations, overload, strider, and toughness 6. It comes with dual mutated claws for 6 attacks at AP 1 with no upgrades. So like everything else in the army, it's fast and it punches stuff in the face. The only upside I can see to this over top of anything else is it does have some innate AP on it. So this is just an oversized meat missile to throw at the enemy. Yeah, from here things are going to get real kind of cut and dry. Just big things to throw at the enemy that are really fast at it. Our next option is the Lust Fiend. 140 points, quality 3, defensive 4, demon, fast, impact 4, overload, and toughness 6. Still relatively cheap at 140 points. If your enemy does not have a high defensive score, a Lust Fiend is going to be able to do a whole bunch of work. 8 attacks overall, 4 of them are going to be from impact, so they hit on a 2. The only thing you got to look out for is stuff with spears to take away impact. Other than that, take a Fiend, slam it into the enemy, and if the Fiend survives through all the combat, use it to go grab objectives. Next is the Razor Flail Chariot, 155 points, quality 4, defensive 3, demon, fear 1, impact 4, overload, toughness 6, and very fast. It has 2 attacks with Toxin Claws and Poison, and 2 attacks with Lance from its Razor Flail crew. So let's put this up against the Lust Fiend. For 15 extra points, the Lust Fiend has quality 3, the Razor Flail has quality 4. The Razor Flail defense 3, Lust Fiend defensive 4. 4 impact, fear, no fear, fast, very fast, 2 poison, 2 lance, 4 poison. So if you're looking just for straight damage, the Razor Flail is going to be a better choice. Those 2 lance attacks are going to give you AP 2, so it's going to do a little bit more guaranteed damage when it hits stuff. The Lust Fiend, better quality though, so this is a toss-up between the two. If you're just looking to shave a couple points, Lust Fiend over Chariot. If you're looking to do a little bit more damage, take the Chariot. Next monster is the Sacred Mirror. 210 points, quality 4, defensive 4, demon, magic absorption, so it's got an extra 6 up save or a 2 up save if it's a spell, overload, toughness 6, and caster 3. 3 attacks from its crew, and then a horrific reflection, 2 attacks, AP 3, deadly 3 at 12 inches. So this is not fast, it moves at standard speed, which in this army is going to feel slow. The 2-shot AP 3 Deadly 3 is nice though, because there's not much else shooting in the army, and honestly you're not going to need it because your melee units are going to nearly outrange bows and crossbows. Why shoot them when you just go punch them in the face? If you're going for a magic build, definitely take the Sacred Mirror. You get caster 3 on top of the shooting attack. This unit I feel like is kind of an outlier in the army, but a good outlier. The AP and Deadly 3 is going to come in clutch for you in some points. Next is Artillery. We have the Infernal Harpist. 205 points, quality 4, defensive 4, demon, entrenched, overload, slow, and toughness 6. So this one is slow. And trust me, you're going to feel it. But it is one of the only artillery pieces that can move. So because it is artillery, it has entrenched, which means if it doesn't move, stuff shooting at it is going to get a -2 to hit. It's like stealth plus. Has 3 attacks with close combat weapons and an infernal harp, 18-inch range, 2 shots, AP 1, indirect, and blast 6. So this one little harp has the ability to put 12 wounds on the enemy, which is great. 205 points, go for it. This should be in your army every time. Where it's a demon, it can ambush in, or it can just set up 12 inches outside of its own deployment zone, put it in a spot that you think the enemy is going to be headed towards, and you can just hit them with indirect harp music over and over and over again. Its one upgrade is Song of War, where it can spawn 5 Lust Warriors for 90 points, which is a good choice if you've already gone up here and you've maxed out your Lust Warriors, because in 2,000 points, you're only allowed to have 3 copies of the same unit, so if you want to have 3 squads moving forward, but you still want to protect the harp, spawning those Lust Warriors, it's a good option. Then our last unit is the Soul Demon of Lust. 755 points, quality 3, defensive 2, demon, fast, fear 3, overload, toughness 18. Comes with a Lust Cannon, 9 shots at 24, a Lust Sword for 18 attacks, and Stomp for 6 attacks at AP2. You can switch out the Lust Sword for a Heavy Lust Sword, 12 attacks at AP2, and you can replace the Lust Cannon with a Heavy Lust Cannon, 6 shots, 24 inches at AP2. I really wish there was an option to just take the cannon off, because even if you take it stock, 18 attacks on a fast monster with 6 attacks at AP2, I want this thing in combat all the time. I mean, no one's going to charge you, so on its activation, it's going to be doing the charging. And with that in mind, I would definitely upgrade to the Heavy Lust Sword. This way I have 18 attacks at AP2, just to make sure those go through. And with Fear 3, even if you run into something that's ridiculously tough, you're probably still going to win that combat and force some morale tests. So that is it for the Lust Demon Army book. It's actually a pretty short book compared to some of the others we've seen. It has more heroes than core units. I just noticed that. Wow. Okay. Next step, we're going to go out in the garage. Welcome out to the garage for game 1 of our double header. We're going to start off with Grimdark Future. So let's go over the models and what we have in this army. Starting off in the corner here, we have a Harbinger of Lust, carrying 2 Ritual Gauntlets and wings so it can fly. Around the corner, we have 2 squads of 5 Lust Furies, carrying Arm Blades for 2 attacks at AP1. And then we have 3 10 Demon squads of Lust Warriors. All of those squads have the Banner of Lust and a Musician to go a little faster. Each of those squads has 1 Champion of Lust in there, and what those have is they have the Blessing of Lust, which makes them even faster. Then we have 3 Lust Fiends in the army, and here we have an Infernal Harpist. So this is going to be the fastest ground army that you can make in the game, with the units of Lust Demons able to do a 19-inch charge. And with the Banner of Lust, all 3 of those squads have Striders, so they're going to ignore difficult terrain. And taking them on in the first game today is going to be the Dark Elf Raiders. The army has 2 Light Skimmers in the back, 2 Engines of Suffering, a unit of Gene Brutes with a Gene Tech Master with the Caster 3 rule, a unit of Witches led by an Elite Raider with the Dark Strike rule, so all of the Witches get +1 AP, and then a unit of Nightmares led by an Elite Raider with the Pained Fueled rule, which means they all have regeneration. So looking at the board, we have 6 objectives on the board in No Man's Land. We are going to do the deployment that is 12 inches on the log table sides. The primary mission will be to take the objective. If you move on to an objective, it is still controlled by you until the enemy takes it back. There's going to be 3 secondary objectives, which are going to be drawn with the mission cards that both armies are going to be fighting over. So let's see what those objectives are going to be. First objective, hold 1. Second objective, hold 6. Third objective, Spellbreaker. So for deployment over here on this flank, we have the Skimmer with Witches. We have an Engine of Suffering. Another Engine of Suffering there in the center. A Skimmer with the Nightmares. And then the Gene Warriors here. They had to completely spread out because the Demon army, as you can see, they're all still sitting over here where I took their picture. because the whole army with the demon rule can choose to either have ambush or scout. So the Furies have decided to ambush, everything else is going to scout. So let's go ahead and put those out. So the demons deployment, we got the Harbinger all the way over here on the corner, sitting on objective number 6, the Harpist in the trees. We have 2 Fiends and a unit of Lust Demons there, sitting on objective number 4. Another unit of Lust Demons over here, touching objective 2. And then a unit of Lust Demons and a Fiend all the way on the flank. So just to show one of the big strengths of the Demon Army, the game hasn't even started yet and they're already holding 3 objectives here. And everything in the enemy army is in range to be charged by 1 or 2 of the Demon units. So now we're going to see who goes first. This one's going to be real important. We're going to see who draws the first blood. The Dark Elves are going to be black. Oh, we got a tie. Dark Elves are going to go first. Opening move of the game, this Engine of Suffering is just going to round this corner to get line of sight to this Fiend over here, and he's going to fire the twin heavy fusion guns, trying to cause a kill on the first shot. So the Engine of Suffering is quality 4, the twin heavy fusion gun, 2 shots, hitting on a 4. 2 hits, and the Lust Fiend is just going to save on a 6. Fails them both. So opening shot of the game, there goes a Lust Fiend. First activation for the demons, our Winged Harbinger over there on objective number 6 is going to charge into the light skimmer holding the witches. Like that. We are going to see if she can rip it out of the sky. So the Harbinger has 6 attacks with the heavy ritual gauntlets hitting on a 3 and 6's overload. So we got all 6 hits plus 2 overloads. Overload means she gets to roll 2 extra attacks with that weapon whenever they roll 6. But that doesn't apply to these attacks. So overall, 10 hits at AP 3. So the light skimmer normally saves on a 2, but with AP 3 looking for a 5. And with 7 fails, that's going to be enough to blow it up. So the witches pile out like that. They are stunned because the vehicle blew up, and then the skimmer goes away. Things aren't looking too hot over here, so the Engine of Suffering is going to try to do the same thing the last one did. 6-inch move to get past the witches, and then it's going to fire on the Harbinger. 2 shots looking for 4. Ooh, whiff. Next activation, these demons over here with their 19-inch charge range are just close enough to charge into those gened warriors. Like that. All the Lust warriors are able to get within 2 inches to get into the fight, so they all have dual hand weapons for 2 attacks apiece. The champion has 2 ritual gauntlets for 4 attacks at AP 3. They all have overload. They all hit on a 4. So overall, not that great. Only 8 of them hit, but we do have 2 6s. So that means we get 4 more attacks hitting on a 4. For 1 extra. So Gene Brutes, they save on a 5. They save 3 of them. So the Gene Brutes have regeneration on a 5. They're going to be able to save 1, so that's 5 wounds taken. So the Gene Brutes fighting back, there's 2 of them left. 4 attacks apiece at AP 4, and then the Gene Tech Master, 2 attacks at AP 4. Brutes hitting on a 3, Master on a 4. 6 hits total, saving on a 6. They save 1, so it's a tied combat 5-5. And that's how it ends up. The skimmer containing the nightmare is going to move up. It's going to put itself there and then fire its laser cannon into that Lust Fiend. So the laser cannon is going to be 1 shot, hitting on a 3. Then it hits. Lust Fiend saving on a 6. And it saves. The Lust Demons in the center, they are going to move to engage the Engine of Suffering. Like that. Once again, 24 attacks, looking for a 4. 10 attacks with 3 overloads on a 4. So our champion had 3 hits at AP 3, looking for 5 to save. Fails them all, but it's got regeneration. It doesn't take any. And then 10 hits, saving on a 2. It doesn't take any hits there. It's time for the Engine of Suffering to fight back. It's got 5 attacks total, all at AP 1, hitting on a 4. It's got 3 hits, saving on a 5. Failed all three. That's going to be 3 dead demons. They're going to need a morale test, which they pass. So it's going to be 3 dead and they move backwards. These brutes are going to charge right back in. 10 attacks total, hitting on a 6 because they're fatigued. Got 2 hits. Demons are saving on a 6. Failed them both. Demons fighting back, hitting on a 6. So there's 4 hits. Overload counts in this situation as well, even though they are fatigued, so we're going to roll some more hits. Overload looking for 6s. Ah, we got nothing. So the one champion hit looking for a 6. They save. The other one's looking for 5s. They fail 1. Regeneration. So they take 1. Morale test for the demons. They pass. The Lust Fiend in the center is going to charge forward into the Engine of Suffering. The Lust Fiend has 4 impact hits on a 2. They all hit, saving on a 2. They all save. Lust Fiend then hits on a 3 with its Toxin Claws. 3 hits, saving on a 2 with poison. Oh, it takes 1. No regeneration because that was poisoned. 5 attacks back, hitting on a 6 because the Engine of Suffering is fatigued. 1 hit. Lust Fiend saves on a 5. And it fails, so 1-1. The Engine of Suffering is going to win because it has Fear of 1. So the Lust Fiend on a 3 passes morale. So each take a wound and move apart. Like that. Over on this flank, the witches are going to recover. They're no longer pinned. And that's what the Harpist in the trees was waiting for. It's going to fire its blast weapon over into those witches. 2 shots hitting on a 4. 1 hit. It's going to be Blast of 6. Witches normally save on a 5. This is AP 1, so looking for a 6. They're going to lose 6. Morale test time. So they have a quality of 4. They're going to be good. Last activation this turn for the Dark Elf Raiders. Those nightmares are going to get out and pounce on those lust demons. Like that. Let's start off with just the nightmares. 20 attacks, hitting on a 3. It's like the dice just woke up. 17 hits, saving on a 5. 13 wounds overall. That's going to be enough to just wipe that squad. And bang. So last 2 activations for the demons. This Lust Fiend here is just going to go sit on objective 1, and then the demons are going to try to take out that skimmer over there. So all the Lust Demons attacks hitting on a 4. So we got 12 hits with 3 overloads. 3 hits from the champion hitting at AP 3, so saving on a 5. 2 go through, and the rest saving on a 2. 4 more go through. That's going to be just enough to take out that skimmer. And bang. That opens up the middle, but now they're looking at that squad of nightmares. I don't know if they wanted to do that, really. So that brings us to the end of turn 1. Wow, that was all turn 1. There's so much dead stuff. For objectives, nobody scored anything, because the 2 holds, you have to hold it for 2 turns in a row, so they couldn't do that. And Spellbreaker, nobody that went down was a caster yet. So first activation, those nightmares are going to go right into those demons of lust, because don't squander opportunities when you see them. Just like that. We can move the trees in the tree blocks. They're just there to signify their trees. So nightmares attacking, hitting on a 3. Then the Elite Raider hitting on a 4. So we got the 2 Rendings that save on 6s. Fail. The 1 AP nothing saves on a 4. Fails. And the rest save on a 5. Failed all but 1. 15 wounds total went through. That's the whole squad. Rip. Over on the flank, the Harbinger is going to charge into the Engine of Suffering. Now the Harbinger has 4 spell power. What she is going to do is throw Overpower over into those witches. That is a strength 3. So she's going to put all 4 points into it, needing a 3+ to cast. And it goes off. It is a blast 9, and there's only 5 witches left, so it only hits 5 times. And they're going to lose 3 more. That means these girls need a morale test. They pass on a 4. They're going to fail. Then the Harbinger attacks the Engine of Suffering. Hitting on a 3, so everything hits. There's even one overload on the heavy ritual gauntlets, and those hit as well. So the stomps on a 3, fail 1. The gauntlets on a 5, fail 4. And then regeneration on all of it. So it takes 4. 5 attacks back, all at AP 1, hitting on a 4. Nothing. So the Engine of Suffering needs a morale test. And it fails. Where it got put down below half, that's going to be it for him. The second Engine of Suffering is just going to float over here to objective 3. And then it's going to fire at that Lust Fiend. 2 shots on a 4. And it's going to miss. The demons remaining over in this corner are going to launch themselves into the Gene Brutes. All their attacks on a 4. So we got 1 overload. 2 more hits. The champion's weapon saving on a 6. They fail all 3. Regular demons saving on a 5. They fail 2 more. Then regeneration. They take 3. So that'll be 1, 2, 3. And they continue fighting. So the last remaining brute on a 3. And the leader on a 4. 3 hits. Saving on a 6. Oh, they failed only 1. So the Gene Brutes are going to lose combat. Pass morale on a 3. Oh, they fail. So there's the one they killed. And then these are going to go away. Did not expect that. So last activation for the Dark Elves, they're going to unpin, and then the Harpist in the corner is just going to fire at them again. 2 shots on a 4. 1 hit. It is blast 6, but there's only 2 of them left, so 2 fails. The morale test for the leader. She's going to be pinned again. It's just not a good day to be a witch. So the last 2 activations for the demons we have are 2 fiends, and they're both going to move to either side of the nightmare, blocking them. So at the end of turn number 2, the demons are able to score both hold 6 and hold 1. They've been under their control in the beginning and the end of the same turn. Next we have Executioner and hold 3. So at the beginning of turn 3, we've had our 2 groups of Furies drop down to squads of 5. This one, I don't know where the 5th one went. So we're just going to pretend they took a casualty already. So the Nightmare is going to push into this fiend here. Like that. And I just realized something. I just realized that the Gene Tech Master was a caster. So the demons got that as well. So let's do Seize one. So in that case, we're going to change things up. These Nightmares are going the other way. They're going to attack there. So let's do the Nightmares. 20 attacks on a 3. 3 rending. They save 2. And the rest on a 5. That'll be enough. So that'll be enough for the squad. Then they get their 3-inch overrun, taking away objective number 1. The group of Furies over here, they're going to go over to there and contest 1. This Engine of Suffering again is going to fire into the Fiend. 2 shots on a 4. Whiff again. The Furies are going to jump over and contest 3. The last remaining Witch does not want to charge into combat because they know they'll die, so what they're going to do is use the fast rule to get over here onto objective number 5. So before she moves away, the Harbinger is going to cast Pain onto that Witch. Look for 4. Goes off. 2 hits at AP 4. That's a dead Witch. So that Witch goes away. Then the Harbinger is going to move over to there to join the fun on objective 3. The Harpist is going to hold, and the 2 Fiends are also going to hold. So for our objectives, the only thing that was actually scored was Executioner. Both teams killed 1 enemy model with heroes. They both get a point. New mission. Cleanse the skies. Kill an enemy unit with the flying rule. So those Furies have flying, and the Nightmares want that point. So in a normal game, I would just pick up the Furies, but right now the Dark Elves are looking for moral victories. 12 hits, saving on a 6. Yep, 10 wounds go through. Oof, and they're gone. And just to see if she could do it, the Harbinger is going to charge in to the Engine of Suffering. First thing it's going to do again is cast Pain. Looking for 2 hits at AP4 on a 4. And it fails. Then her attacks close combat looking for 3. 1 at AP1. Passes. And then 4 at AP3. Failed 2. Regeneration. Failed them both. Its attacks back looking for a 4. 4 hits. They're all at AP1, so saving on a 4. It fails 2. So what that means is the Engine of Suffering actually won combat. And the Harbinger does pass her morale test. So that's how that ended. And then next turn, it is going to turn and fire both of its heavy fusion guns into the Harbinger. 2 shots on a 4. Oh, 2 hits. Saving on a 6. Fails it both. So they final Defiant. Boom! That's the last activation for the Dark Elves. And because there is no need, everything else for the demons is just going to hold. So at the end of the game, adding everything up, secondaries, the Lust Demons ended up with 6, the Dark Elf Raiders ended up with 2. For held objectives, the Lust Demons have 4, the Dark Elf Raiders have 1. For a final score of 10-3 for a Lust Demon victory. So even though all of their large squads were just getting decimated, it did not seem to matter because they had the speed to be able to move things where it was needed to hold those objectives and to complete those secondaries. So we're not going to dwell on this one. We're going to go right into our next game. Our second game today is going to be in Age of Fantasy, and the Lust Demons are going to be taking on the High Elves. Same list we had last week. We got a High Noble on a Dragon, champion with 10 warriors. Everybody's got spears with a Master Mage, 20 Weapon Masters. Each squad has 1 Caster 1 inside of it, and they're both joined by High Nobles with High Prowess, giving everybody +1 to hit. 3 squads of 5 archers there in the back, a squad of 10 Shadow Sisters, and then a champion who is a Master Magician with 10 Silver Cavalry. So just like in the last game, they're going to have to deploy everything first, and the demons come on later. We're going to be using the same board setup as last time, so I'm just going to use the same picture. Same mission, primary is going to be the objectives. Whenever you touch them, they are yours. Until the enemy takes them, you can move off of them, and you still retain control of the objective. 3 mission cards are going to be used for secondaries, which both armies are going to be fighting over at the same time. Let's go ahead and see what those are. So for missions, we have Arcane Channeling, Big Game Hunter, and Seize 5. Then for deployment, we have our Spearmen all the way over on the flank, Archers in the trees, the Shadow Sisters here in the middle. We have Archers lined up in all the windows there. The Dragon all the way up on the roof. You don't get to see that in many games. Weapon Masters, Silver Cavalry, Weapon Masters, and 5 more Archers on the flank. Again, demons aren't here because they get to choose who's scouting and who's ambushing. So for demon deployment, we have Fiend, Demons, Demons, Fiend, Harbinger, Demons, Fiend, and then the Furies are going to stay out for ambush. So here we go again. Whites are the High Elves. Black are the Demons. And we got a tie. Again, second game in a row. Demons are going to go first. So first activation of turn number 1. This unit of Demons over here, they have a 19-inch charge range with Strider. So they're going to charge right into the Shadow Sisters. Like that. So the Demons of Lust, they all have 2 attacks apiece. The champion with them has 4 attacks with Ritual Gauntlets. They're all going to hit on a 4. And everything in the Demon army has Overload. And what Overload means, that anytime you roll a 6 to hit, you roll 2 more attacks with that particular weapon. So here we go. So we got 12 hits and 5 overloads. We only pick up 1 more hit. Oh wait, 2 more hits. So the Shadow Sisters save on a 5. The Gauntlets are AP 3, and they're going to only lose 1 there. And the rest of the attacks on 5s. So they end up losing 9. The Lone Shadow Sister is going to attack back and miss. Definitely going to need a morale test. And that last one's going to take off running. So there goes the whole unit.
These demons feel a whole lot more powerful in Age of Fantasy. Just being in this situation, it's making me think so much harder. So our cavalry, they're going to go ahead and move 16 inches forward. They're going to move up to there. So for what they're going to do, I have to zoom all the way out for this big brain play. Our caster here has 3 spell points. He's going to use all 3 spell points on Tempest. And what Tempest does is it is a blast 6 on 2 units within 9. And this one just barely, and that one there. So it's going to put blasts on both of those units. Now, both of our Weapon Master squads back here have 1 point. What they're going to do is they're going to add themselves to this Spirit Bomb. They are both going to give +1 to the outcome of this spell roll. So that means he is going to be looking for a 2 to cast. This is a big brain move making me think like an elf. So looking for a 2. Oh, good thing it barely goes off. So the demon squad directly in front of them, they are going to lose 3. And the demon squad over on objective 3, they're also going to lose 3. So it's not great, but we're going to say every little bit helps. And just because they came closer, that squad of demons in front is going to charge into the cavalry. So the demons attacking. We got 7 hits and 4 overloads. Picking up 3 more hits. Silver Cavalry normally saves on a 4, so the AP 3, that's going to be 3 dead horses. And then the regular demons attacks on a 4. That's going to be 4 more. They're going to lose 7. Oof. That's going to be a morale test. Pass morale on a 4, 50-50 to stay or go. They're going to go. Oof. That's all I could really say in these situations is oof. So that demon unit in front of them is already activated, so this Weapon Master squad is going to move forward. Because of the difficult terrain, they end up there. The Lust to Fiend in the center of the board is going to head over to objective number 4. Put himself there. The unit of archers inside the building here is going to fire at that demon squad. 5 shots hitting on a 4. We got 4 hits. Saving on a 4. They lose 1. Pew. Again, I got to zoom the camera out. Because of their long charge range, this demon squad here, they're just going to charge these Weapon Masters. Like that. 4 is to hit. Only 4 hits, but 2 overloads. Giving us an additional 1. The champion's attack, saving on a 6. Fails. And the rest on a 4. So they're going to lose 3. The Weapon Master's fighting back with the high prowess skill. They're all going to hit on a 2. 8 hits. Everything's at least AP2, so saving on a 6. Nothing. So 3 Weapon Masters go down and leave the champion with 1 wound who needs to take a morale test. Morale on a 4 is going to fail. Takes off. So splash that squad. So now that you know Weapon Masters are going to move out, they're going to end up contesting objective number 4. Next activation, the demon with the harp is going to fire at those Weapon Masters there. 2 shots hitting on a 4. Ooh, boxcars. 2 hits. So it is AP 1 and blast of 6. Since there's more than 6 there, it's going to hit them 12 times. AP 1 means they're saving on a 5. So they're going to take 8 wounds. And they're going to need a morale test. Which they fail. So that was just not nice. And they're pinned. Those archers on the flank are going to fire at the Fiend. Remember, this is just to show, yes, those are trees, so it doesn't block line of sight. 5 shots, hitting on a 4. 2 hits, saving on a 4. It's going to take 2 wounds. So it is down to 4. It's not going to mind that much because it is then just going to charge into those. So it's got 4 impact hits. 4 hits, saving on a 4. They're going to lose 2, so the Weapon Masters themselves are gone. It's just down to that noble. 4 attacks with the Toxin Claw, hitting on a 3. 4 hits, saving on a 4 with poison. Nope. So they didn't even get to run away. This squad of Weapon Masters is just dead. The squad of Spearmen all the way on the flank are going to move up to objective 6. The Fiend over on 5 is just going to hold. Finally, the dragon, who's been waiting to see how everything develops. He is going to get down and charge into this squad here. first step is going to use its breath weapon and get 3 hits at AP1. That's going to kill 3 of them. Heavy lance on a 3. 2 hits. That's going to kill 2 more. 10 attacks with his stomp and heavy claw on a 3. Only ended up with 4 hits there. And it's going to be 3 more dead demons. So that kills 8 overall, leaving 2 in the champion. So all that's left is the banner and the musician and the champion. They're not going to be able to fight back because the dragon killed far too many to even reach them. So time for a morale test. Morale test out of 4. No, they're going to be gone. So much for that. Last activation for the demons is the Harbinger. It is going to fly over and engage the demon, or engage the dragon right there. First thing the demon is going to do is spend 2 spell points for the 1 spell power spell called Seizure. Looking for a 3. And it goes off. That's 1 hit with AP2 and Deadly 3 onto the dragon. Saving on a 5. And it fails. There's 3 wounds. Then the Heavy Ritual Gauntlets on a 3. We've got 4 hits with 1 overload, making it 6 hits. Then we have 2 stomps. 1 hit. The stomp on a 4 fails. And then the gauntlets on a 6. It fails 5. Now the High Noble on Dragon is a Phoenix Warrior, so it gets regeneration. Saving 2. So it takes 7 overall. It's going to attack back, and now all of its weapons, because it didn't charge, have AP1, and they're all going to hit on a 6. 1 hit, and the Harbinger saves on a 4, which she's going to save. Even with the Army Standard Bearer and the Fear of the Dragon itself, that's only 7. It took 7, but then the Harbinger has Fear of 1 itself, so the Harbinger wins combat. The Dragon needs to take a morale test. And it fails. So the big dragon still has 8 wounds left, but it is now pinned. Last activation of the turn, these archers are going to fire at that fiend over there on number 5. 5 shots on a 4. Oop. 3 hits, saving on a 4. It takes 1 wound. Ding. So the end of turn number 1, we have Arcane Channeling. Both teams were able to pass it because they both cast enough spells. They did not cast 3 spells. So there we go. Siege number 5, the demons end up with that objective. And Big Game Hunter, a whole lot of stuff has died on turn number 1. But it was nothing that was toughness 6 or higher. So let's pull some cards. We got Shifting Strategy, which I'll grab a dice in a second, and Volley Fire. So I got a dice. Number 4. Shifting Strategy for number 4. And that happens to be everything underneath that cluster right there. So we'll see if that happens. So at the beginning of turn 2, we have Ambushers. We got 1 squad of Furies there, another squad of Furies here. Again, I lost one somewhere, so just imagine they already took a casualty. And the demons get the first turn. So first turn, there's no better opportunity. The Harbinger is going to go right back into the big guy. So once again, demon's going to do the same thing. It's going to cast Seizure on the dragon, put the 2 points that it gained this turn right back into it. So looking for a 3. It goes off. AP2, it saves on a 5. Hey, it saves this time. Time for all of his stomps and the Heavy Ritual Gauntlets hitting on a 3. We end up with 5 hits. One of the stomps overloaded. We get 1 more hit, saving on a 4 from the stomps. They all save. And then saving on a 6 from the gauntlets. Takes 3 wounds. Regeneration. It takes 2, putting it down to 6. All of its attacks back, hitting on a 6 because it is pinned. It's got 2 hits. And the Harbinger saves on a 4. Takes 1 wound. Now, even though it did more wounds to the dragon has all of those fear upgrades, so the dragon actually counts as winning combat. The Harbinger needs a morale test, and it passes. I mean, when you have a chance like this, you take your shot. It's down to 6. Our squad of warriors, they're going to file through that little crack over there, and they're going to charge into the fiend. Like that. So the champion in the squad is going to cast Magical Surge, and he sees no reason to hold back. He's going to put all 6 points into it. Needs a 2, and it goes off. That means everyone in the squad's going to hit on a 2. 13 attacks on a 2. They all hit. The fiend saves on a 4. Yep, that's enough. That's enough to take him out. Next, it is the demon's turn, and our harp artillery is going to fire into the weapon masters. 2 shots hitting on a 4. We got 1 hit. AP 1 and blast 6 are going to save on a 5. And then they're going to lose 4. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to be enough to force a morale test. 3+ on the morale. Oh no, they're going to fail, so they become pinned. So they are now pinned weapon masters. Our archers here in the building, they are going to fire over at the Harbinger. 5 shots on a 4. 1 hit, saving on a 3. Oh, it takes 1 more wound. Taking it from 5 down to 4. Now over here, the Furies that just showed up, they are going to charge into these archers. Like that. 10 attacks, Furies hit on a 5. So we got 4 hits, but 3 of those are overload. Overload roll. We got 2 more hits. AP 1, so the archers save on a 6. That's going to be enough to take out that whole squad. Bang. The dragon is going to hold and unpin. This fiend on this flank is going to charge into these archers. Even though that's difficult terrain, he's able to get close enough with just his base movement. 4 impact hits. 2 hits. Saving on a 5. Hey, they save. 4 attacks with poison. 2 hits. Saving on a 5. 1 save. 1 6. Yep, so that's going to be 2 dead. So now they get to fight back. And they're all going to whiff. Morale test. They're going to pass. Last activation for the Elves. The weapon masters are going to recover. Back here on this side of the board, these Furies here, they're going to charge these archers in the building. Like that. So there's only 4 there because that's my own fault. I don't know where 1 is. Hitting on a 5. And we got nothing. Sometimes the dice just say no. So the archers fighting back. They hit twice. And Furies. We lose 2 Furies. Morale test. They're going to fail. Oh, they disappear. Yeah, sometimes the dice just, they just want to laugh at you. The last squad of Demon Warriors are going to charge into the Weapon Masters. Like that. Hitting on a 4. And then all the overloads. The Champion's Weapon, they're going to be saving on a 6. They fail all 4. And the rest of the demons are saving on a 4. They take 3. That's going to be just enough. That 6 wounds they did is enough to take out the 3 squad members that are left and the hero. Last activation is going to be this fiend right here. He might as well just charge right into that dragon. Let's see what he can do. So we got 4 impacts. All 4 are going to hit. Dragon saves on a 3. Saves them all. 4 poison claws. We got 3 hits. Saving on a 3, but it's poisoned. He fails 2, and there is no regeneration for this because it's poisoned. 13 attacks coming back, all at AP 1, but they hit on a 6. He's got 3 hits, saving on a 5. It takes all 3. The fiend needs to pass a morale test, and it passes. And I forgot to activate this unit over here. They are going to shoot at that fiend, but the way it's still going to work out, the demons are still going to be the ones that would last this turn. 3 shots on a 4. 1 hit, saving on a 4. Saves. Okay. So over here on objectives, the Elves are able to score Big Game Hunter because they're able to take out one of those fiends. Objective number 4 is still a cluster. And volley fire, the Elves still have not been able to pull that off. So we get 1 new objective, and it is going to be Siege 3. So at the beginning of turn 3, the Warriors are going to be nuts and charge into the Harbinger. Like that. This time the hero is going to attempt to cast the +2 to hit when they charge again, but it does not have all the magical points to put behind it. This time he only has 3. He's going to burn all 3. It goes off on a 4. And it fails. So everything else, 13 attacks on a 4. So 7 hits, 7 on a 3. Oh, it's going to take 4. And that's all she has left. So pop. The little spearman coming in clutch. Our first squad of Furies that were victorious are going to charge into the Elven Archers. 10 attacks, hitting on a 5. Only 2 hits, but one of those is overload. Still only 2 hits, saving on a 5. 1 archer goes down. 4 attacks back on a 4. 2 hits, saving on a 5. 2 Furies go down. Morale check for the Furies. They're going to pass. I think the dice are giving the Elves like some kind of entrenchment bonus. It doesn't actually exist, but the dice thinks it does. Time for the dragon. It is going to come over here and try to burninate those demons. First thing we have is the breath weapon. It goes off. That's going to be 3 dead right there. Then the lances, the bites, and the claws on a 3. All that dragon's angry. We need 5s and 6s to save. 7 go down. This could be enough for the squad, but the champion is still alive. Champion hits on a 4. Got 3 hits. AP 3, so it goes to a save of a 6. Takes 3 wounds, but it's got regeneration. It still takes 3 wounds. So the dragon won combat, so the champion of the lust demons, it's gonna pass. That's where we are. Next activation over here in the corner, fiend into those archers again. 4 impacts. All 4 hit, saving on a 5. 2 fail. Poison claw. 1 hit, saves on a 5. That's enough for the rest of the squad. They held on longer than they should have. So last activation for the Elves. They're going to fire at those fiends and try to get them out of the building. 4 shots on a 4. 2 hits, saving on a 5. 2 fails. Morale test. They're going to fail. So that drops it down to 1 left, but it's still there. Second to last demon activation, we got our harp. It is slow, so it's just going to walk over here to 3, and then it is going to launch at those spearmen. All right, it is indirect, but the harp moved, so it's going to be -1 to hit. Looking for a 5. We got 1 hit. AP 1, defense is a 5. That means you're saving on a 6 up. That's going to be 5 dead warriors. It's not enough to cause a morale test. Last activation, that fiend is going to run through the gap and end up there. So things are so bloody. Sees 3. The harp is standing on 3. They had it already, so that goes to the demons. And then shifting strategies. Because that fiend took off to the other side of the board, the elves are going to get that point. So the new cards are Outflank and Seize 4. So at the beginning of turn number 4, the dragon is going to run over here to take on the harpist. So the dragon attacks everything on a 3. 2 lands hit, saving on a 6. Saves 1. Everything else saving on a 5. That's going to be enough. No more blast for you. Our lone champion is going to be able to use her strider and all her movement to be able to get over there to contest number 3. These warriors are going to push back over here to number 5 to try to take out the fiend. The noble is going to try to throw quench at the fiend, and it fails. So 8 spear attacks, hitting on a 4. 3 hits, saving on a 4. It fails all 3. Now the fiend fights back on a 4. They all hit, saving on a 4. Or saving on a 5. Either way, they lose 4. So the fiend is going to win combat, and those warriors are going to take off running. So he's down to 3, and then this squad goes away. Last activation for the elves. Those archers are going to fire on that fiend. They are digging for that volley fire card. There's 4 of them. They hit on a 4. 3 hits. Saving on a 5. That fails. That volley fire card is going to be the elves. Bing. So for the final 2 activations, this guy is just going to go to here. And the fiend over here is going to hold because he's got nowhere else to go. So for the objectives, outflank, we have the dragon and then we have the fiend, both within 6 of the center. Seize number 4, that's going to go to the lust demons, and volley fire, that's going to go to the high elves. So at the end of the game, the secondary points added up. It is a tie, 4-4. It comes down to the objectives. Looking at the objectives and remembering who the last person was to touch them. Objective 1, demons. 2, demons. 3, contested. 4, demons. 5, demons. And 6 is the high elves. So final score is going to be 8-5 for a Lust Demons victory. So the ability to scout and ambush their whole army, coupled with the raw speed of the Demons of Lust, they're able to choose their battles. And something else I want to say too about these battle reports. Even though I see and I can say on paper that these armies are good, that does not mean that I'm good playing them. Just want to throw that out there. So thanks for sticking around through this double header of the demons in Age of Fantasy and Grimdark Future. Next week, we're going to go back solely to Age of Fantasy, and we're going to have a little bit something special, something kind of cute, if you will. You ever seen something and your initial reaction is, wow, that's dumb? But then the more you look at it, the more you like it? If you're curious what I'm talking about, just swing by next week. So that'll do it for us today out here in the garage. I hope you all are out there having as much fun as I am playing OPR. I hope to see you across the table from me someday, and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.